Varsity legend pitcher from the 60s to say some more words.
Thank you, thank you. You know, after we won that championship in 1964, the seniors had already graduated. We went back to an empty school around midnight. The seniors departed the next day, and everybody went their separate ways. And you know, I kept in touch with a couple of the players, and we always had this dream that maybe one day we could get that. I mean, that was the very first city championship in the history of the school. How significant is that? And you guys have won championships after that, and that's great. And you know, it just continued the legacy that we started in '64. We had this dream that we would just like to be able to get together maybe one more time if we could. And we talked about it, but nothing ever happened. You know, that dream intersected with somebody else's dream. And that was a dream that Tim had, that he talked to me about 8 years ago. And he said, you know, it would be great if we could have something like the football team or the basketball team, this Hall of Honor. And he'd been thinking about it and thinking about it. And you know what? He put it together. He didn't just talk about it. He put it together, and from a humble start, I was there at the very first banquet. And it was a humble start to look at this. Just look around you. You know, they say that you're here today, and I'm here today because of decisions that we made 20, 30, 40 years ago. And all I can say is that we're here tonight because of the dream, the hopes, and just the inspiration of one person, and that person is here on the stage. And all I can say is, let's get on our feet. Let's give a round of applause as we induct Gitner.
I was thinking about this the other day, and certainly not about this, because certainly my play doesn't warrant it. My time as a student certainly doesn't warrant it.
There you go.
But like I said earlier, I've been a teacher at Father Judge for 15 years, and I'm on the verge of my 38th birthday, so I've spent 19 of my 38 years at Father Judge. I couldn't have picked a better spot. I love Father Judge. I love baseball. I love Father Judge baseball. It all made sense. You know, when I first started, and to go to Coach McDermott, who had coached me, and ask him for a spot on his staff, and for him to give me one, and then certainly to move up the ranks. And then one day when I'm not sure if anyone ever thought it was actually going to happen, for him to step down, to him throw his support behind me, it was a little bit humbling, exhilarating, and then to be lucky enough for Father Campbell and the rest of the administration to choose me to lead the program moving forward. A lot of things hinge on wins and losses, and we would like to have more wins than losses. I'd like to think that it's more than that. Every team that has come through, I love them like they were my kids. We try very hard, they work very hard. But at the end of the day, I think it's more important what they know moving forward. That they understand the tradition, that they understand respect for themselves, for their families, for the game, and that they know when they leave what it means to be a Father Judge Crusader. And I wish every single one of them that have played for me over the last 7 years could be here right now, not to see this by any stretch of the imagination, but to understand what I've told them so many times on the field of what it means to be a Father Judge Crusader, because most of the people that are sitting in the crowd were Father Judge Crusaders, and it means something to them. And that's ultimately what I want of every kid that plays baseball at Father Judge. every kid that I teach, I want it to mean as much for them as it does to me. And so, I guess, parting thoughts, I don't think many people play sports to get inducted into Hall of Honors or Halls of Fame or whatever the case may be. But for anyone out there, younger, that thinks that this may be cool, here's a note. Start one, maybe you'll get in. Thank you.
Charlie Humphrey for getting the word to the Gitner family. And I don't know what they told you why they were coming to me. But Father, you can hear confessions at that table right now. And Tim, the wins and losses, I figured out all out. I look back there. All you need is McGeary, Geis, Kerrigan, Bonikoski, Brzezinski, and people like that. And you'll have those championships just like your predecessors. And a few everyday players like Mike Stutz, our next inductee. I was very fortunate. I not only played with